So typically when I do these reviews, I usually go super in depth on the stats, how the Pirates are doing in different areas, how the individual players are doing. I'm not going to do that. I'm probably not even going to title this video uh, Pirates season review. I'm probably just going to title this Pirate fan rants about how god awful this stupid team is. Let's just talk about it. Starting at the All-Star break, the Pirates were 50 and 47. They were 3 games above 500. They were above 500 at the All-Star break for the first time since 2015. The last time this sorry sack of a franchise made the playoffs. So, there was a bit of optimism. Yeah, there were definitely flaws on the roster. The starting pitching wasn't doing as great as I think people anticipated, which we'll get to later. The bullpen was a complete mess, but the hitting, the offense took a complete 180. They were first in the league in average, hits, runs scored. That's all great. Since the All-Star break, they have gone 8 and 15. The bats have gone ice cold, and the pitching is still a mess. Why? Let's talk. So let's start off with the starting pitching. Coming into the year, you expect Paul Skeens to ace. He hasn't really been that. He, you know, this is a down year for him. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's a bad year for him. Uh, we're used to seeing him put up phenomenal seasons. Of course, the reigning Cy Young winner. He started off the season really well, and then just seemingly out of nowhere, he just really collapsed. I remember going to the Rockies game that he pitched in earlier this year, and he did really well. He went 8 innings, and he didn't allow a run. He did great. He did great, and the Pirates ended up winning that game. But since that game, he's been a disaster. He has an ERA of nearly 4. I think right now it's like 3.96, something like that. He has a record of I think 9 and 10. It's bad. It's really bad. So that's the first thing. Your ace isn't living up to potential. And I don't know why that is. I don't know if it's that his mechanics are off. I don't know if he's dealing with an injury, if it's something mental. I have no idea. I could not tell you. Next, you have Jared Jones. Jared Jones, I personally like Jared Jones. However, he is not he's a guy that can throw a super quick fastball and have command issues at times. He has an ERA of over 5, but he has had his fair share of good games every now and then. I personally like Jared Jones, but that's just me. But I do admit there is room to improve. Bubba Chandler, also another pitcher who is admittedly struggling in what he's doing from the beginning of the year to now. He is not he's great. It's not good by any means, but I do see small improvements, and not every young pitcher can just blossom right out of the gate. It doesn't happen. So give Chandler some time. I see improvements in his game, and that eventually it'll translate to more wins and that ERA going down. I mean, remember at the start of the season, his ERA was above 5. So Chandler, although he's not perfect, I do see improvement, and I can only hope that improves more heading into future seasons. Braxton Ashcraft, probably been the best pitcher on the staff this year, still has an ERA above 4. It's barely above 4, but it is above 4. Uh, he's had his fair share of really good games, and when he has his really good games, the Pirates tend to win. But he has also had his fair share of stinkers. I think he gave up 8 runs against the Yankees not too long ago. Um, there was another game where he got absolutely slammed. Regardless, you can see the talent. Similar situation to Bubba Chandler. He's a young pitcher. You're going to give up a lot of runs sometimes. That's just a thing with young pitchers. I expect him to improve going in the next year. However, right now, although I've given him his praise this year, and I think he does deserve it, but there are things he can improve upon. Mitch Keller, who, of course, is now on the season ending IL, was not great. Supposed to be the veteran of the rotation, supposed to be the anchor. Not a good year from him. 6-8 record, 5.29 ERA. Not good. Not good. He's supposed to be the veteran, the anchor, and it just hasn't been that way at all. So, what needs to improve? Obviously, the starting pitching needs to improve. And really, it kind of started when they took Carmen Mlodzinski out of the rotation. It's weird. I don't know. I have my complaints about Bill Murphy. Obviously, this is only Bill Murphy's first year as the pitching coach. I don't think they're going to fire him. I would honestly be surprised if they did. However, the glaring, numbers don't lie. The, the Pirates had a top 5 pitching unit last year, and now it's this? That that's a problem. That's a significant problem. Now they're a bottom 5 starting rotation. And with the names that they have, that is simply unacceptable. It's unacceptable. I think, I'd be to fire him just because it's his first year, and the Pirates don't typically do that in the first year. I'd be surprised if they fire him, but man, it's really hard to ignore that. It's really. Of course, the bullpen has been bad. That's why the Pirates traded for 4 pitchers, 4 relief pitchers on deadline day. And although I do think the bullpen has improved since then, the numbers don't lie either. It's not a good bullpen, and that needs to change. Simple as that. Luke Weaver is expected to be the closer moving forward. We will see how that ends up being. At this point, there isn't really a whole lot you can do about the bullpen. The bullpen, I think, is just going to stay bad, and it's something you got to deal with. Same with the starting rotation. I think it's going to stay bad, and you got to deal with it. Next, we'll talk about the offense. The offense, as I mentioned before, at the All Star break, it was great. It was great. Since the All Star break, it's been less than stellar. The bats have gone ice cold, and I think you can pin some of it on injuries, but keep in mind, the Pirates were still doing well without Connor Griffin, O'Neill Cruz, and Spencer Horwitz in the lineup. Horwitz has since returned. Of course, Ryan O'Hearn ended up going on the injury report, but still, they were still producing even without those guys in the lineup. Now those guys in the lineup, and now all of a sudden they're not producing. I don't know if this team is just struggling from fatigue. I hate that excuse. I don't like it. It's a long season. You're expected to play 162 games. Oh man, it's really bad right now. The Pirates are a mess. 4 games below 500. They're 58, 62. As I mentioned before, they're 8-15 since the All Star break, and I think they've lost what 4 straight series. It's not great. It's really depressing to watch this team right now. It's real depressing to watch this team. What else can I talk about? I guess I can talk about the ownership. You don't need me to tell you how bad that is, so I guess I won't waste too much time on it. Don Kelly, I could talk about him. Look, it's his first full year as manager, and yeah, it's had mixed results. It has had mixed results, but I do think they're going to give him another year. I would be surprised if they let go of Don Kelly after this season, but there are things that he can definitely improve upon. I would like to see him improve upon. There are random days where he trots out the most random lineup in the world. I don't think I'll ever understand, but he just does that sometimes. And I understand giving guys an off day, but some of his lineups are really inexcusably bad. Like I remember way early on in the season, I think it was against the Giants. He had Jared Triolo batting leadoff. Why? He does have a tendency to pull pitchers early. I don't think that's entirely his fault. I think part of that is just how the game is evolving. Because nowadays we don't typically see pitchers pitch complete games. We just don't. The Pirates haven't had a complete game in I don't even know how long. Probably been at least 5 years. It's been a while. I mean, look, earlier this year, like just before the All Star break, the Marlins had Yuri Perez had perfect game through 7 innings, and they had I think like a 7-8 run lead at that point, and they still pulled Yuri Perez. So, I mean, it's just how the game has evolved. Man, my nose is really itchy. I don't know why. But yeah, it's super depressing to see the state that this team is in. It really is. It sucks. I'm obviously still going to watch the remainder of these 42 games we have left, but it's very depressing because I know this team is capable of better. I mean, look, and to be honest, it sucks too because Brandon Lau is having a good year. Brian Reynolds is having a much improved year. When he was in the lineup, showed a lot of promise. O'Neill Cruz wasn't swinging and missing at everything for once. And he's actually been okay in the outfield. It's a shame. Spencer Horwitz was, I thought, it sucks, man. I mean, the list goes on. I haven't even mentioned any of the young guys. It sucks. It really does suck because this team has potential, but there are just so many flaws just as a unit that it sucks. I hate wasted talent, but unfortunately, that's where we are right now with the Pittsburgh Pirates. There are 42 games left. I'm still going to be here reacting to every game for better or for worse. And chances are I'll be here next season and the next season after that. Go Pirates.